I'm Margaret Ann Windsor, and my father's Edward VIII, who never married Wallis Warfield Simpson. He was married to my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe Windsor. She was Queen of England in 36 when my father was taken out by the Illuminati, the global government now, that came to be because they took him down. With character assassination. He never married Wallis Simpson, the American spy. She married a double. There were more than one doubles that were used, and part of them went out and did behavior that was unbecoming, and it was blamed on my father. And then people began to believe. They took out my father and my mom. Even her pictures have been destroyed, or they've made pictures saying that it's overlaid. I don't know how it's done, that it's my mom. It's not. And she did not die in 1984. Isn't that odd that she had a home in Beverly Hills? And I was flown out in a campaign. I'd written a book about mind control. I didn't know the Illuminati had kidnapped me. I didn't know, couldn't remember. I didn't know that part. And I found out I didn't win in the campaign. Oh, Larry Flynn helped me because he'd been shot by a program shooter, and that's what I had been writing about, the Tesla files that were stolen in 30. And supposedly Donald Trump's uncle, who was a MIT professor, had access or had stolen them. Reportedly, that I believe, the Illuminati had them, and it had all kind of information. So, really, everyone should find out about that were stolen in the hands of the global government that kidnapped me, took down my father and mother. And history, even with the Meghan Markle marrying in this uproar again, Elizabeth's had a chance to come clean. The press is controlled by the Illuminati. She's a high-ranking member, and I know it. She knows about my birth. She knows where I'm at. She came right through here when the shooting at Virginia Tech happened, and I'm living on the Appalachian Trail telling people about mind control and a letter from the FBI, me writing about it in 79 and almost being killed over and over again. And my sons, Mark and Scott. And I'm going to hold this up here because I bounce around and get half my face up here. I'm not going to put any information, my dad's picture, all this up. I've put it up before. What I want to get across is this. I put up Georgia O'Keeffe, who's my aunt, her picture. And I do look a lot like Georgia, and I look like my father, too. I hope my sons, Mark and Scott, are well, and alive and well, and I get to see them again. I'll be 80 today's the last of November, so next month. Probably cutting off my sound here. I'm trying to just focus it right there. I'm trying to do this I look and I see from the first of this year. So another month it'll be a year. How much have I aged? And I really deteriorated because of I'm allergic to chemicals, and my environment has been used to kill me. And I will just say that and leave it. It causes mass inflammation all my body, and my hair's come out from the stuff that's been the mold and the mildew and all this. My whereabouts is controlled. It has to be stopped, what's being done to me, because it's deliberate. And I go back to a Virginia State trooper, hoping it hasn't hurt him, because I tell the truth. His wife told me when they brought me down off the mountain, I had run up there with a tent at a campground, national park campground, since been closed. But anyway, during the night, to get away from what was going on here and begging for a place to stay, paying, getting run with chemicals, losing it. If I paid a month, I could stay 2 days, and you get the drift, lose my money. A week, I could lose it, and I have. And now I can't run anymore, and I'm in such bad health. What I wanted to put up here, and I realize I haven't. That's my hand, by the way, that you see that looks like that. Um, my camera, my phone, and the camera and everything is small, and anyway, it's cheap, cheap. Anyway, I'm getting to this, and I wanted this to be put up. Get the point. Someone who's very dear to me uh, informed me that she was told. Okay, my mom, Claudia Ruth O'Keeffe, was a school teacher, and I meant to say this. I was out there in that campaign in October of '83. I was at Flint's. He at that time lived in Bel Air and then moved to Beverly Hills. My mom had a home in Beverly Hills. They had her dying in '84, and that's not true. They disposed of my mom and dad. And then Georgia O'Keeffe, my aunt in Abiquiu, Ghost French, was Oliver, what was his name? Oliver, I can't remember, was a handyman or helped her. And he got control of her money. This was all so tightly planned and Illuminati. I don't know if, I don't know. I know it's the end times that I was telling about and I didn't realize it. Chipping people and the Illuminati that kidnapped me, or the global government, the beast, computer chips in you. That's what I've been telling about. Then I find out about my kidnapping. Now I want to just get to this and say this. I have been made a pauper. I've had to beg. I've had crimes committed against me, one on one, ongoing. And nothing's ever been done about it. It's still ongoing. Except I can't run anymore. And by the way, back to the state trooper, his wife said to me when they brought me down off the mountain, because somebody had come in the middle of the night and poured kerosene all over my tent. I had to get out, and I'm lucky to get out, I guess. But they brought me down, and they paid the security deposit there, and his wife said to me, "This is how we run you with chemicals." Well, I think she was telling me that, and she gave me their address and nearby town. He'd retired, and I think he used to be in this area of Washington. Anyway, I'm giving background. I don't need to, but I think he told it so I could repeat it. But it doesn't matter. The people believed it anyway. They just didn't want to get involved. Anyway, this relative, well, I said relative, she is, I think, who's been very dear, she is, she told me about, well, let me just say, I went and Googled Anita O'Keeffe Young. And I knew that her daughter had died. They were in politics, and he was into railroad and evidently a magnate in the railroad. Well, I do know my father owned large shares, I believe he did, in the railroad. Now you get into Wallis Simpson, and I think somehow she was connected, her parents, to she was illegitimate. That's what they called the twins when they took me to Moulton, Alabama, and gave me the name and stripped me of anything. And I was called, because I was supposed to be Peggy in school, that's what everybody thought, and I was called bastard. So illegitimate's a cute word, I guess. But anyway, now I'm going to lose my train of thought, excuse me. I'm just going to get back to Georgia O'Keeffe, because my mom was married to my dad, the Illuminati, the Rothschild, the Jews. President Roosevelt, FDR, was Jew. His wife, his whole family were into taking down my father, my mom, kidnapping me. They're the global government under the guise of United Nations now that wouldn't have come to be if they hadn't taken my father down in '36. And he didn't marry Wallis Simpson, an imposter did. So I'm going to go from there. and me finding out, and I have been kept without any funds. I've had crimes that I'm not going to mention on here. I've tried to in the past. Now, I know this is odd, and I know that you can get things to steady this. But anyway, I haven't had the funds. That's how close. I've been lucky to eat at times. In the last few months, it's gotten better because a few people helped me. But I wanted to put this up. I did Google and find out about my Aunt Anita OKeeffe Young. Robert Young was her husband, and he was way up in the railroad business. And I do know that they were in politics. His daughter, Cookie, was her nickname, and she was in a plane crash with her husband. Right, I think he was a congressman. Anyway, this relative, I hope she doesn't mind me saying that, she is, contacted me with added that she was looking up that Cookie. It was how ironic that Cookie, with all this happening to me, Cookie would be a cousin of mine, right? My mom would be her aunt, and then I'm a second cousin, I guess, on the O'Keeffe side. Now then, Cookie is also the nickname of Elizabeth, so-called Queen Elizabeth. She's not. She's an imposter. I'm the monarch from the day I was born. My father had arrangements, legal. They took him down illegally with character lies, character assassination. My God, he didn't even marry Wallis Simpson. What do you think? They made George VI, Elizabeth's father, the Illuminati, king, or the title king. They're illegal. They're traitors and war criminals. Anyway, she brought to my attention that Cookie was the name of O'Keeffe. That's my mom's, would be her niece, died in a plane crash, and her husband. Now, Cookie's also the name of Elizabeth's mother, so-called Queen Mom, who should have been locked up herself. She's the Rothschilds and who helped kidnap me, and the banking that control the world now under the guise of the UN out of New York and Rockefeller Center. Now, this is going to go off. I was going to say this, though. They took over Georgia O'Keeffe's estate very well. Oliver, I've forgotten his last, Hamilton, was supposed to be helping her. And, he got her estate, access to it. It was an illegal will, and the O'Keeffes weren't allowed to get near her. They tried to. Okay, her estate was taken, and he had control, guardianship of it. Now, my Aunt Georgia was very wealthy. Recently, a couple of her paintings sold for, oh my God, way up in the millions. And now then, in this it's the property of Robert R. Young Foundation from the estate of Anita O'Keeffe Young, October of 85. It's where they're auctioning off from her estate, and some of it, I guess, I don't know. But anyway, she was wealthy. They were. And they had the home, if I can see where I put it down, I don't know. Sotheby's had a book on it, and I think they're the ones that helped in auctioning. I'm not sure. Or maybe that's ongoing. The name of the two homes that Anita had were Fair Home in Newport, Rhode Island, and Mont Sorrel. I'm going blind. My glasses just don't work. Montsorrel in Palm Beach, Florida, which is in private hands now. I have never had access to anything. My mom and dad were taken out. The O'Keeffes, for whatever reason, I think they tried to help. I think they were unable to. So people like to say, well, this isn't true. Oh, it's true. My children have had horrible crimes just at birth done to them. Okay, I said that the nickname of Elizabeth's mother was Cookie, and Cookie was the name of Robert Young and Anita, Aunt Anita O'Keefe Young's daughter that was killed in a plane crash. Now then, I was going to something else here if I can get it up here. Um, Georgia, I live here in Salem, Roanoke County, in Roanoke, and I've lived on the Appalachian Trail out in Trouttville a long time. I was shut down, have been. And if I can keep it. Anyway, and part of the time I was in Charlottesville. I worked there a little bit there. And that would have been in 92, I believe. June, July, August, in that time span. Well, not June. It's on top of the mountain then. Um, anyway, I went to Charlottesville. There's where so much has happened that the truth hasn't been told at all. Um, Anastasia was murdered there. August, I'm sorry, yeah, August the 4th was, I have to stop and think now, my God, I've told it so much, of 84. Was it August? My God, I've just put it up and been putting it up. Anyway, that's easy to see. They just don't tell they murdered her and how. So that's been covered up. But Georgia went to Virginia, University of Virginia, there in Charlottesville, and that's where a lot of her art and paintings, and she went to classes there and all that. Now, my mom, they had moved to Fredericksburg, Virginia. So here I end up here, living on the side of the mountain on the Appalachian Trail, freezing, starving. People told not to help me. But besides, and telling about mind control being used by the government. And it's mass. That's your government's doing, like in Santa Barbara, and the programming to do the bombings, and the Vegas where associated with horses and end times. Whether you think I don't know what I'm talking about, it may not be God doing it, but He's in charge anyway. What do you call it? His last name that was supposed to have killed all those people in Vegas. Then you got Trump, that the name is in the Bible, and the trumpets. And by the way, go back to the first of this. I told about the Tesla files that I was writing about, not knowing. I was just writing about mind control murders, programming people like they shot George Wallis, governor of Alabama, running for president. They shot, they shot John Lennon when I was working for the district attorney. Oddly enough, his name was Simpson, as in Wallis Simpson. So you get the gist. I've had nothing from any of this. Everything has just been destroyed. They will buy my Aunt George O'Keeffe's art and pay fortune for it. They wouldn't give me a dime. Now the property of Robert Young, and that was Aunt Anita O'Keeffe. She was very much into society, and everybody loved her, and they went to the homes. And you know, it's a different story when you don't have your crown and you come begging and you come whipped. It was a different kind of whipping they gave me. They can show a picture of a woman just a while ago getting beat by 4 men and kicked. Mine and stomped. Mine happened using other equipment and scenarios all the way. It was done, and brutality to my children and me is unspeakable. But I do hope that you have to see it. I hope and pray to God this is the end of this, and for the few people along the way who have been kind and have certainly helped me, and I'm talking of a handful that really the last few months did help me in acquiring some clothes and some things. Let me put it that way. They were very nice, and I appreciate it more